So this will probably be one of the shortest videos of the series, but I wanted to add it because the topic that it covers, hindsight bias, is very important to consider when taking those trips down memory lane and exploring and trying to make sense of things from our past. The gist of hindsight bias, I find, is best explained in the alternative name for it, the I knew it all along effect. It's when we look back at an event after it happened, and since we have the knowledge of that event and how it unfolded, it's very easy to tell yourself that it fully makes sense why the event unfolded the way that it did. Think of mystery novels and murder mystery novels. How many times have we finished a story and found out who the murderer was and gone, of course it was them, makes total sense. Of course that clue led to that discovery, which led to them being caught. Of course. I used the murder mystery example because as a kid I devoured Agatha Christie novels and the Hercule Poirot novels. And yeah, hindsight bias happened a lot when I read those. Of course, when an event is in the process of unfolding, it can be so hard to know what the implications will be. If you start seeing someone and start to develop feelings, you have no way of knowing what's going to happen down the road. And whether it results in happily ever after or heartbreak, it's so easy to look back on those initial events, on those initial dates and texts and phone calls, and tell yourself, oh, you can tell we were meant to be, or wow, it was clear from the start that this was not gonna work out. Other examples are, it can be so easy to call out a coach for a play call that led to the team losing, or to call out a political party if a decision didn't pan out how they envisioned it. It's so easy after everything is all said and done, but during the event or before the event, it's not. The reason that I wanted to bring up hindsight bias and how it pertains to depression and post-university depression, especially for me, is that we need to be oh so careful in how we approach looking back on events and decisions from our past. A big reason why I would beat myself up so much and dwell and oh my god, did I have an issue with dwelling on things, was because I look back on things from my current vantage point, which was with the knowledge of how the event and the decision had played out. It can be so easy to look back on your university experience, on the major you chose, on the amount of partying you did, on the types of people you dated and fooled around with, and on your first job after university, on how you choose to spend your weekends and free time and all these things. It's so easy to look back on them and criticize them if you're not happy with them, because you now have the knowledge of how these things played out. It does take extra effort, but trying to put yourself back in your shoes when you made certain decisions can definitely help. It's something that I work on doing, and yeah, it definitely helps. Mental health can really be affected by how we look back on things and how we frame them and restore them in our long-term memory. And yeah, hindsight bias can definitely have a negative effect on our mental health. It definitely had a negative effect for me, and I definitely drove myself off the walls replaying a bunch of decisions and events with my current knowledge and vantage point. As always, it's easier said than done. But, as always, making an effort is worth it. Regret can rip you to shreds if you let it. We gotta learn to live with it. And having an awareness of hindsight bias and what it is will help in living with it. For all those people who have listened to Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z says it so well in his song, appropriately titled, Regrets. This is the number one rule for your set. In order to survive, gotta learn to live with regrets. It's so true. So yeah, be aware of hindsight bias.